Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yeah, so guys, you're coming to dig in. I invited. My alarm woke me up at 5:30 a.m. Had to get myself ready. I had to quickly make my hair, go take my shower, and then to my makeup. Charlie, we can't go with a raw face, so you know what I mean. Today, my way to an FM station, specifically TV FM, for a radio interview this morning about aspiration, pneumonia, force feeding, and the complications that can come out of it. So guys, come along, let's go. Finally, I was at the entrance of Media General. Charlie, I've been seeing this building anytime I pass, and I've been wondering when I would enter, Charlie. And today is the day I entered. Somebody say amen. Charlie, I love it. Charlie, the compound was so big, so vast. A lot of cars were parked there. Charlie, God, thank you for this opportunity. Yes. So I was shown to the reception area. They had an attendance book there for their guests. So I had to sign in, and finally I was shown to the waiting area where I had to meet my team. Ta-da! So meet my team. Yes, this is Dr. Claudia Oforidonko. Yes, and this is Dr. Alvin. Yes, guys, can you imagine? Got there, took out my microphone, took out my receiver, connected it to my phone. I was doing my video, Charlie, thinking I was recording, knowing I didn't switched on my mic. Guys, I finished. I said, let me preview the video that I did. I realized there was no sound. I'm like, what? What have I done? I have to go back, switch on the mic, and redo it again, guys.
They were
Charlie.
focused on forced feeding, a silent child killer. Now with me in the studio to expand that conversation is Claudia Oforidonko, medical officer, pediatric intensive care unit, Hollywood Teaching Hospital. I've also got in the studio Dr. Alvin Tete Kwashi, medical officer, pediatric intensive care unit, also at the Hollywood Teaching Hospital. And finally, we have Rebecca Dogbe, registered nurse with 5 years of ICU experience. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you.
Good morning.
How are we doing?
Fine.
Are we fine?
Yes, we are
A
fine.
little bit of energy, but it's good to see you. I'm sure breakfast will follow in due course. But as I mentioned, we're talking about force feeding, or this idea of force feeding. So, Doc, I'll start with you. Tell us, when we talk about force feeding, what are we talking about?
Force feeding basically means feeding with force, literally. It's a no-brainer. So force feeding basically in our terms is another word for aspiration. So aspiration refers to taking in a foreign substance or an object or anything into the lungs. The lungs is mainly meant for air and gaseous exchange. So anything foreign going into there can actually cause aspiration. So force feeding is you forcing feed through the tract that normally takes the food and then probably ending up in the lungs.
Okay.
That's basically.
Now, why would anybody feel the need to feed their ward? Is that something that happens often? Because, like you said, when you think about force feeding, you think about an interaction that is maybe quite, like you say, forceful and can lead to damage. A reason why moms are force feeding their children.
So most parents, guardians, teachers, when they realize their kids are not taking what they think is enough for them to take, even though the kid is healthy and playful and doing everything a kid is supposed to do, when they feel like this is the amount you are supposed to eat and you are not eating it, then they force feed their children. Because they think, oh, my kid is not gaining weight and you want your kid to be chubby. But in actual fact, when you look at the kid is a healthy child. But they think this is the amount the child needs to take. So they end up carrying the child, pinching their noses, pouring down porridges in their mouth.
And this is stuff that you actually see happening. So moms are actually, like you say, pinching the nose and forcing the food down. For the reasons that you give. They say the child is not gaining weight and doesn't like food or whatever the case may be.
Yes. And they've not, sometimes, with kids, as we also decide what we want to eat and when we eat, even as adults, there are some things we don't like. So instead of doing that, instead of finding out what their kids actually like to eat at a certain age, they are rather forcing the food down. And even if it gets to a point where you think it's so bad, you should seek professional help. You could see your pediatrician, you should talk to a dietitian instead of forcing the food down their throats and then ending up in their lungs.
When I saw the topic yesterday, I thought, really, is it actually happening? I mean, Rebecca, talk to us. Do you see this happening on a daily? I mean, how often is it?
So it's so bad that we get to record these cases very often. Aspiration can come about in different ways.
But the ones that we are recording due to people force feeding their children is currently on the rise. That is how come we wanted to do this awareness for people to
know that if the child can take 2 spoons
at a time, let the child be. In 30 minutes, in an hour time.
Only take the 2 spoons
at a time.
Okay.
Let them take the 2 spoons of food you are giving them. In an hour, in 2 hours, try again. Whatever they will take. Their stomachs are small. So it is not you to decide the amount they have to take.
Their body takes what they want to take. So if you are forcing the child to feed,
and the tract, the esophagus and the airway, where they meet, there is a junction.
So the epiglottis closes for one to function very well. So if you pinch the nose of the
child is forced to breathe through the mouth. And this mouth that the child is breathing through, that is where you are pouring the porridge. So accidentally, these substances get to go into the lungs of the child, meant for breathing, to be ingested with food. And then the worst happens.
So we're actually recording deaths due to force feeding.
Yes. So
that is quite scary. I mean, do we have stats or numbers to back this?
Yes. So from our statistics, I mean, I've also been working with people since 2020. And from our statistics from 2020 to now, we've had about 48 children coming to us alone, even in Kolebu. So you can imagine how many are outside there nationwide, how many actually lose their lives in the emergency before ICU is called. So the number might even be less than what we are seeing there. So we had 48 cases and about 15 have died from 2020 to now because of force feeding. And also this year alone, we've seen like 6 who have died. And it's not just about the force feeding. The aspiration has force feeding and inducing vomiting. So aside force feeding children, we've also realized, children will be children. Sometimes we as adults make mistakes. Someone pours kerosene in a Verna bottle or Belacqua. A child sees this, picks it up and drinks it.
Right.
So children are taking kerosene, bleach. And then as parents and guardians, instead of seeking medical attention, we end up inducing vomiting with palm oil. Now the children end up vomiting, and then the palm oil, your gastric juices, which are like acid, plus whatever you took in, ends up in your lungs. And now you are destroying your lungs.
I see.
And it gets so bad. So if we are seeing you in the ICU, it means you've gotten to a very bad stage where the child is struggling to breathe and we need to pass a tube down your throat to help you breathe. And even with this, we are recording 30% mortality from aspiration.
My goodness.
Including force feeding and taking in other substances. We recorded 30% of mortalities from 2020 to present.
So the advice to parents is that if your young ones happen to reach out for some substance that is not wholesome, that is quite dangerous, what is the first thing that they should be doing? Because some might say, well, should I not induce the vomiting so that whatever it is that they have ingested can come out? Is that not more life-saving? Or is it that they just have to rush to the nearest health center?
So I have to say they have to rush to the nearest hospital
center.
Yes, because you don't know what you are given will rather worsen the case. When you come to the hospital, we'll ask you what the child ingested, and we would have their antidotes and we would know the proper treatment to give. By you inducing the vomiting, mostly the
Complication come about when they induce the vomiting.
So even
Not
that is
even
rather hurting.
than the injection of the poisonous substance the child took.
Okay. Now, looking into the future, what kind of shall I say, future issues could a child that has been force fed have? Do you note that there is some kind of negative relationship with food because of the way that they are being fed? Long term, what could potentially happen, Doc, if parents continuously force feed their children?
Okay, so if you continuously force feeding your child, like we already put across, it's you're going to end up likely in the ICU. Okay, and we're going to probably be supporting your breathing and stuff like that. So for me, long term wise, I think we should not even like try and force feed the children.
Don't even let it get there.
The awareness has to be created. Supervision and things at home should be well structured in a way, like you place things that kids you can easily ingest. Put them very high up on the shelves. Make sure you keep an eye on the kid. If it does happen, we all make mistakes, like Claudia said. Do rush the child quickly to the hospital. I think this is the first nationwide campaign we are trying to do. We are collating a lot of statistics. So hopefully, with the launch coming in and everything, we are hoping to hit the ground running. This is the first. I'm sure in the future, others will start coming in. We'll start creating more awareness for this kind of
problem. So you're actually taking this conversation nationally. That's how important you deem it. So I can see on your t-shirt says protect my little lungs. If you're watching us on Facebook, you can see these t-shirts with some blue and red on there. This is something that we should be paying attention to as a people. So there's an official launch. When does that happen, or has that already happened?
So the official launch is on Friday, this coming Friday.
Right.
Yes, at Kolebu Teaching Hospital, our child health conference room.
Okay.
In the morning at 9 a.m.
At 9 a.m.
In the morning.
Very Friday.
This very Friday.
At the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Who's invited to come in and listen?
You're all invited. You can tune in to listen. Yes, because this has
virtual only,
virtual and physical as well.
Okay.
So make the Zoom link available for people to tune in
and then they too can get involved. I think it's a very important conversation. But Doc, you wanted to add on to that?
No, like I was saying, you don't have kids, but you could also pass the message on to people who are here to help them out and educate them on.
Maybe if you see somebody forcing, because you see that sometimes you're out at a program and there's somebody forcing a spoon down the kid's mouth. Tell them don't do that.
So we are doing this so that we will all be advocates for children, not just their parents or guardians or teachers. And we realize teachers are doing same.
They are also force feeding the children.
Kids, and all those coming are less than 1 year infants. So because maybe as a parent, the two of you are busy, you have to send your child to a daycare, and this happens to your child. It's very bad.
So this message is for everybody.
We advocate for children.
Thank you so much for your time this morning. On Friday, the conversation is expanded further. So 9 a.m. Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Also tune in virtually. Doc, final words?
Yes. So I wanted to add, there's also a float going on. We're gonna hire a car and just parade through the town with banners and stuff.
When is this? On Friday?
23rd. That's going to be on 23rd. Yes. Okay.
I see.
July. Yes.
So everybody get involved.
Yes.
In this.
Everybody should get involved in that's what we're going to. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We are finally done with our interview. Yes. And I think it went well. Yeah. We are getting feedbacks that it went well. We did our best. Yeah, kudos to my team. So I'll ask my able team members, my doctors, Dr. Claudia Akufo-Addo, her experience.
Hi. So, going into the interview, I was a bit nervous because I don't normally do this, but it actually went well. They made us comfortable. They asked us simple questions so that we were able to let the layman understand what we are talking about and not make it so technical. So it was very good, and we're able to explain ourselves well. And hopefully, we are hoping that the message has gotten there, and that people are actually going to stop all these practices so that together we can all save lives. Thank you.
Now to our doctor Elvin Tetekwashi. Yeah, also did this or video. No. What was your experience?
Okay, so this it was a nice experience. Like Claudia said, they made us feel very comfortable. Um, it was very conducive atmosphere to just make the message clear enough. It was a simple segment, I think about 10 minutes. So we just quickly had to make everything abridged and concise, and it was a very good experience. They were lovely people, hospitality through the roof, and everything. So yeah, we really enjoyed ourselves. And hopefully the message got there. That's the most important. Yeah, thank you.
Guys, you are done. But you know what? After a hard day's work, man must eat. Yeah, so we are here spreading ourselves. Yeah, we have to eat. Somebody's strawberry virgin mojito is in. Yeah, she was specific. Yeah, so guys, you're coming to dig in. You are invited. So after everything, we decided to take some pictures. Yes, and we got some beautiful shots. We came out and guess who we saw? The one and only Mundi. Yeah, she was so friendly. We took some pics with her. Yeah. And guys, we're done. Hashtag don't feed my lungs. Hashtag protect my little lungs. Yes, so please, 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 let's save the lives of these children.